So Sneak and Shown Elves, you see that on the top. That's Bill Craddock versus Kieran Conley. Middle seat is Ben Nikolich versus Sam Berkenbile, and then Andrew Funkhouser versus Luke Purcell.
Something you look for in that Elves matchup is some builds started playing crop rotation and then had access to Caracas in the 75.
Ooh.
That's not happening here, and it's going to hurt in a matchup like that.
So, underway here. In our modern match, Nikolich on Jeskai. Going to start out. You're right, Jeskai seems powerful. I'm not sure it's the best fair deck anymore. Nikolich is going to play it anyway.
Yeah, this is what he knows. He's very good at it.
Yeah. Cavern of Souls for Sam. Game 1, that's pretty big, and he'll go ahead and lead out on Noble Hierarch.
Though Jeskai, it is pretty heavy on removal spells, relatively light on counter spells. It's just 3 Logic Knot, 3 Cryptic Command.
Any Spell Snare?
It's like no Spell Snare. There's a main deck Negate. That one's pretty much always bad in this matchup.
Okay, so some dead cards, but not as many as Sam would be hoping for.
Right.
Now, these teams actually both at 7 and 1, we believe, are into day 2.
Okay. Takes a little bit of the pressure off. Still, though, a win would be very nice for either team.
And it's one of those interesting ones we see. Search for Escanta from Ben. Noble Hierarch, usually a good card. I mean, a very powerful Magic card, but in this kind of matchup where Jeskai is actually trying to remove every creature, Noble Hierarch is not great.
Right. In particular, with this being an Ether Vial deck, not a Collected Company deck, there's a lot less pressure to deal with the Noble Hierarch.
Yeah, it's not going to be a turn 3 company. But Sam does, speaking of pressure, he has some pressure of his own. Exalted Mantis Rider on turn 2 hits in for 4.
Yep, that's where Humans wants to start. Now we'll start seeing some checks. Can Nikolich start producing removal spells?
Yeah, fetches down to 15 and bins a card off Search for Escanta.
Straw's pretty land heavy. There's one coming down and at least 2 more in the grip.
For sweepers, Ben is looking at 2 main deck copies of Supreme Verdict and 1, and believe that is it. Otherwise, we're looking at Snapcaster plus cheap removal.
Right. The 3 Electrolyze generally are able to produce at least a 2-for-1, frequently a 3-for-1 in this matchup.
Yeah, especially with something like Noble Hierarch sitting around. We go back over to Sam. Attempts to swing with Mantis Rider. Once Ben realizes which creature is getting exalted, he'll path to exile it.
And the basic planes is already on the battlefield.
Oh, wow. Kitesail Freebooter from Sam. You're right. That's just no penalty. There's just 1 basic.
Though this Freebooter is pretty bad for Nikolich, as it's taking Electrolyze, the only spell left over.
Ooh, okay. So Field of Ruin, Steam Vent's Plains in Ben's hand. He's going to have to draw something. Counting on Search for Escanta.
Yeah, Search helps. He's a bit off of flipping it, but anyway, he'll get to filter his draws some.
Well, for a turn, he might not even mind just keeping it on the enchantment side.
3 mana to activate the Escanta the Sunken Rune is pretty steep.
But what I like is Ben now at 14. All Sam has pressure-wise is 2 damage a turn with that Freebooter. It's not... And, you know, when Ben gets a removal spell for it, he'll gain a removal spell back.
Right, and get back a really good removal spell and Electrolyze.
Ben bins another land.
Yeah, don't want that one.
And draws another land.
Yikes. That is not ideal.
Plays Field of Ruin. Uses Field of Ruin on Cavern of Souls. That brings him up to 6 cards in graveyard.
And that puts Berkenbile down to 1 land.
Oh, yeah,
Again,
the basics in play.
Plains is already there. Berkenbile has to shuffle because Field of Ruin is very rude.
Well, Sam can probably cast most his cards. Noble Hierarch is decent at that.
Yeah, does a reasonable job. The trick is when the spells cost 3 mana, won't be able to cast any more Kitesail Freebooters until he gets online with a 3rd land.
Yeah, and Nikolich is going to transform that Search for Escanta. Next turn, he'll bin a 7th card.
Unless he just wants it, which is also not good
news
for
okay. So
Berkenbile.
the only way it doesn't transform is if the card's great?
Yeah.
Okay. Sure thing. Draw here from Sam. He has some good plays. Looks like Thalia's Lieutenant, one of his options. Draws Aether Vial's turn. That's a bit late. He has Meddling Mage, Reflector Mage, Thalia's Lieutenant, Aether Vial, Phantasmal Image.
Yeah, the biggest problem with the Vial, it's reasonable because he's getting a little bit choked on mana. It can catch him back up. The problem is he has to invest
his turn.
all of his... Yeah, exactly. He wouldn't be able to 2-spell with it.
So he'll make Thalia's Lieutenant. That's the most damage this turn. Gets 2 1/1 counters. Kitesail Freebooter will attack in, and it will exalt for 3 damage. Bend down to 11.
Be a real nice spot for Supreme Verdict.
Top card. Ben can either transform or take it. And looks like it's a close decision.
Yeah, you might be interested in taking some of your medium value cards just because you don't really want to be activating search yet.
Lightning Helix was the one he actually said.
That's above average.
Yeah, because of how this mana lines up, look at this. Helix will go ahead and hit Freebooter, gets back Electrolyze, and Electrolyze will take down Noble Hierarch, and that brings Sam down to 1 mana source.
And
love it.
I think Nikolich drew Snapcaster Mage.
Sam swings 1, plays Aether Vial, still no more lands, passes. Now Search will transform, and Ben has taken control.
Yes, and Stabilize with a good amount of life as well. 13.
Yeah, Lightning Helix, great. So he'll Logic Knot into the graveyard. Escanta transforms Escanta the Sunken Ruin.
It's really funny that Nikolich was thinking about that Logic Knot, because theoretically, you can use Cryptic Command to get the Vial off the battlefield and start countering creatures. He didn't snap it into the graveyard.
Well, on the other hand, Sam has no plays, attacks for 1. And that's going to be it. And then Nikolich will start using this Sunken Ruin and finding all the things in the world.
Yep. Escanta's been found.
Yeah. Eventually finds one of these 2 Jaces, or this 1 Gideon, or a 1 Secure the Wastes, and that's pretty good. How about just make Secure the Wastes, actually?
Yeah. Plenty of mana already. Yeah. Berkenbile's seen enough.
Yeah, okay. You got it. I have no more follow-up. Game 1 goes over to Ben Nikolich. First one of the round. So they're up 1-0. We'll take a look at the sideboards and check in on our Legacy Standard matches when we come back after these messages. So game 1 goes the way of Ben Nikolich, and we said we'd check in on Legacy and Standard, and those go the same way too. Kieran Conley with Elves gets game 1, and Luke Purcell with Grixis Energy takes game 1. So a sweep of the pre-board games for their team.
Grab your broom.
All right, and I know post-board, things don't get too much better for Berkenbile.
No. So we look at the sideboard for our Humans player. 2 Gaddock Teague, 2 Grafdigger's Cage, 2 Hostage Taker, 2 Static Caster, 2 Selfless Spirit, 2 Sin Collector, a Dismember, a Kataki War's Wage, a Zathret Necromancer. This build actually has an above-average number of things for this matchup. 2 Selfless Spirits, 2 Sin Collector, a Zathret Necromancer. All this stuff helps you fight this attrition battle. The 2 Gaddock Teagues help protect you against Supreme Verdict. They also turn off Cryptic Command, which is one of Nikolich's more powerful redraws.
Yeah, so I agree. There are like a lot of things going on here. I still sometimes feel in this matchup there's a structural issue where Humans is a stack of 2/2s for 2, and that's just not good enough against a Snapcaster Mage deck.
Especially because we're talking about Jeskai, things like that Necromancer, it doesn't do anything against Path to Exile.
And Snapcaster, because it's a 2/1, it's just going to block, trade, and flashback something.
Right.
It's a really good card.
Exactly, and Nikolich will just win the game somehow later too.
Yeah.
Losing the Snapcaster is not even really an issue.
So some of these 2/2s though might keep Ben off balance. I think that's what you're saying. Sin Collector, Craddock, Teague, maybe.
Yep.
But that said, on Nikolich's side, he actually gets to upgrade as well.
Yes, the sideboard for Nikolich: 2 Celestial Purge, 2 Dispel, 2 Ruined Halo, 2 Vendilion Click, a Ceremonious Rejection, a Detention Sphere, a Disdainful Stroke, an Elspeth Sun's Champion, an Entered Explosives, a Gideon Allies Engar, and a Wear Tear. This removal stuff, the Celestial Purge is good against a good number of things. Mantis Rider, the post-sideboard Zathra Neckmancer, that's good enough in the matchup. Engineered Explosives can be a 2 or even more for 1 sometimes. Ruined Halo, kind of the same story.
Yeah, did you go for things like Detention Sphere, a slow removal spell, or maybe the second Gideon?
The second Gideon's pretty reasonable, and I like the Detention Sphere. The stuff kind of gets on the ground. You have things in your deck that you really need to board out. The Negate, the Logic Knots, the Jace the Mind Sculptor.
I don't board him out.
You don't board him out?
I put him in my deck. I bought those Jaces so I could cast them, Ryan.
I have had them in my trade binder for years so I can board them out when they're bad.
I mean,
anyway, Vendilion Click is also pretty good in the matchup because it's a removal spell and you get to see their hand and you can take a good card if they have one.
I bet when you cast this matchup, you look at their hand and then you don't take a card.
Yeah, I say, oh, those are all creatures.
I can win. I already win.
You can keep your creatures. Vendilion Click in response to Ether Vial is pretty interesting too.
Gosh, there's that too, huh?
Yeah.
Ooh. That's really a rude play when they tap Aether Vial and then you put in Vendilion Click and you take the card that costs that amount of mana.
Yeah, responding to things like that with Vendilion Click is so nice. Doing things that against Stoneforge Mystic used to be a really nice trick.
Oh, how about this one? Sometimes I play the card through the breach and I get real embarrassed by Vendilion Click.
Oh, yeah.
What's going to enter through the breach? Nothing.
Ooh.
Sakura Tri-Builder, here he comes.
Your turn.
you hit him for one with a Tri-Builder, then you go get a land.
Powerful.
Yeah.
It's a good 5 mana.
Yeah. Berkenbile taking a mulligan here.
Not the matchup where you want to do that. You don't even have a lot of 7s that are very thrilling in this matchup.
I'd like to go to Legacy. Yeah, it looks like another mulligan here for Berkenbile. We'll see if he gets a hand that can present. There are some Humans hands that could do well on 5.
Yeah, if you have the correct amount of lands.
Yeah.
1 or 2, and then just a bunch of gas, a reasonable curve that just goes up 1, 2, 3. You can start hitting hard with Mantis Rider. Thalia is quite good in the matchup.
Do you want like 1 land Aether Vial? Can that do it, or is that still too slow?
Theoretically, kind of the issue though is with one land Vial. You're a turn behind of casting your spells on curve, and you're just doing one thing a turn, which Jeskai should do a pretty good job of keeping pace with. Especially because we're in a post-sideboard where Nikolich is going to be light or just off of counter spells. The fact that the Vial that stops things from being countered, that no longer matters. So now it's just kind of slow. It's just kind of a card that Nikolich does not need to use a removal spell on. When you play against decks that are really heavy on attrition, the Juns, the Jeskais, the Grixuses,
just don't mulligan.
You just don't want cards in your deck post-sideboard where your opponent's going to say, that's fine.
Turn 1, Ancient Ziggurat, Champion of the Parish from Sam. That kind of start could be rewarded here. We'll see Spirebluff Canal from Nikolich. And looks like we're going to get to play another Ziggurat and Kitesail Freebooter from Sam.
Yeah, Nikolich is ready with a Lightning Bolt.
Doesn't have the 1 mana removal spell. Yeah, he'll bolt the champion. He thought for a second about bolting the freebooter. And you look at the hand, Serum Visions, Vendilion Click, Snapcaster Mage, Electrolyze, 2 lands.
The freebooter's still pretty well covered.
It's pretty dead. It's not technically dead yet, but it's...
Yeah, it's only mostly dead.
There's not even a good card to take.
We have 2 options. Serum Vision and Electrolyze.
Ben has a removal spell on 3 mana no matter what you do because of Snapcaster Mage. This stinks.
To put it lightly.
They're all the same.
The Vendilion Click is probably just as good as a removal spell for the Freebooter too.
I like that. Take the Serum Visions so that now everything is 3.
At least nothing is going to happen on this turn.
Yeah, at least I'll get you 19
Never
unless you draw
mind.
another Serum Visions.
Nothing matters. Go help your teammates. You're dead.
Well, maybe Sam could make Zathrid Necromancer and then lose like on turn 7 instead of 5.
Yeah, the value that you recover from Necromancer matters a lot less after you mulligan. Especially with cards like Electrolyze and Snapcaster Mage hanging out.
Ben makes Colonnade to make sure that next turn he can set up for that Electrolyze. We're going to see Thalia's Lieutenant from Berkenbile. That means that the Freebooter's a 2/3, hits Ben to 18, and it means at least there's not going to be an Electrolyze shooting down.
Yeah, but with the Serum Vision under the Freebooter, it's just a 2-power creature. There's no rush to deal with it.
Passes.
Now,
Snapcaster Bolt already.
Berkenbile can't commit some 1-toughness creature to go with the Lieutenant because Nikolich just gets to Electrolyze both of those.
Yeah, there's that.
If it was something like Thalia on this turn, you push Nikolich back 1 turn as he has to pay 1 for the Thalia, but that's still pretty manageable.
You make Meddling Mage and you hope that it just resolves, and then you name the right. Not even a card to name.
I guess because even the Thalia would pump the Lieutenant, you just cast Electrolyze here, get Lieutenant out of the battlefield, and Berkenbile is only attacking for 2. That's just not nearly enough damage.
Just Freebooter will swing.
Big swing by the Freebooter.
Well, if you swing them both, Snapcaster will kill both of them. At least this way you just trade with Vendilion Click. You see Gaddock Teague and Thalia's Lieutenant from Berkenbile. So, okay, no instance. 3-1's just going to trade. You can get the Serum Visions back.
Is there even any card that Nikolich would take there? Yeah, keep those.
Yeah. What if Sam had, like, Hero of Bladehold?
Nikolich has a Path to Exile.
Oh, okay, that's new. I didn't see that one yet. Maybe there was a... Look, if he didn't have a Path, he might have had to take Hero of Bladehold. That card could get him good.
Yeah, if somebody just resolved like multiple Hymn to Turox on Nikolich, then he would have to be a lot more deliberate about what he did with his Vendilion Click.
All right, here's a big one. All the pressure's on Sam now. Kieran Conley won the Legacy match.
Pack it in. Go get dinner, man.
No. Maybe we got him. We got him now.
We are all hungry, Sam.
Land 4 from Sam. He will sacrifice Horizon Canopy, and Andrew Funkhouser puts the team on the board. 1-1, nose sweep.
Won a game.
That's right.
A game.
Shuffle up those cards, Andrew. You're going to get this match. Show your teammates.
You should check in with Sam real quick to see if you want to shuffle up for Game 3. Yo,
I would turn to Sam and be like, keep playing.
You know, guys, we're locked for day 2. I'm kind of tired.
Hey, he's casting another Snapcaster. He's casting a Snapcaster Mage, and this isn't the Snapcaster Mage he showed me. The one you saw earlier was the Innistrad art. This is a different one.
Nice. That is fantastic.
It's like, look, this is the other one, man.
Sigh of relief for Berkenbile. The basic planes was in the deck this game.
Nice value.
So the path is a 2-for-1.
1-for-1. It was a Snapcast. Wasn't it Snapcasted?
Well, this one was cast from hand.
Okay.
We're not undoing the damage from Snapcaster Mage.
So Ben draws another Snapcaster. That's good.
That's a fine card. That's a fine card.
It's the third one here.
Some real tight, close games happening here. This Humans deck just has game against everything.
See, you'd say it was a punt for Ben to show the other Snapcaster, but he's actually playing better because by expressing the hopelessness of the situation, Sam might concede earlier.
Right. Ben also
wants to get dinner.
Yeah.
It's like, look, man, this is a different one.
Hey, I'll show you my hand if you'll pick them up. It's very good. My hand is very good.
It's just all Snapcasters and removal. It's just more.
We've been here before, man. I know you can't do anything.
You know that Phantasmage you have? I have an Electrolyze in my hand. I'm like 1-1 with the image on your face, draw a card. It's going to be really nice.
It's a very close game, though. It's still anybody's game.
That is, of course, assuming that I will let a creature on the battlefield exist for you to cast Phantasmal Image copying.
Yeah, you can't just toss the image out there without anybody to clone.
Sin Collector.
Okay.
Well, he's just got 2 Snapcasters, I think, so Electrolyze 1 and 1.
I hope I don't draw a spell. What a disaster
just show
that
him
would
no spell.
be.
Gideon Snapcaster.
That is not an instant or a sorcery. It is also not remotely beatable.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, misses.
I think Berkenbile could draw 3 cards just like as a free ancestral.
Dude, just draw how many you want. It's fine.
Yeah.
Here's Gideon.
Gas back up. Drop to 7. Let's play a game.
So, okay, Horizon Canopy. We're going to get a second one. Here's Thalia's Lieutenant.
Ooh.
That's a 1/1. And that's enough. Sam gives his teammates permission to pick up the cards. And it is going to be a team of Conley, Nikolich, and Purcell. They are going to end day 1 at 8-1. That's going to put them in a tie for second, if not first place. And for the team of Craddock, Berkenbile, and Funkhouser, a tough ending to the day. But they have dinner coming up, and they have day 2 tomorrow.
Exactly. Yeah, they're locked for day 2. You don't like to limp in. You like to sprint in. But you're still very much in contention.
All right, so that's going to do it for our coverage here day 1. So here's how it's going to work. Any team in 24th place or in a tie for 24th place will be making it into day 2. 7-2, probably 6-2-1. We'll keep an eye on it. And we'll bring all those teams back for competition tomorrow as they make their way toward the top 8. But that's it for our evening. Join us tomorrow. It's going to be 10 o'clock a.m. Eastern Time. That's 7 o'clock Pacific. Ryan and I will be here along with Nick Miller over in the sideboard. We have 6 more rounds of play and a top 8. We'll see you then.
The SCG Tour is brought to you by StarCityGames.com, where you can now pre-order Dominaria cases, bundles, combo packs, and more. Visit us at StarCityGames.com and pre-order your Dominaria products today.